Hello and welcome to the Productive Wellbeing Show. And today is episode 7. Now, I am Abigail Barnes, your host for today. If you are joining me live, please say live as you join. If you are watching this or listening to this on the replay, please say replay. And if you find what is shared today valuable for you, please be sure to share this with your friends as well, because at this time, at this unprecedented time, a ton of us are finding ourselves remote working daily without really the preparation for it. So the aim of this show is to give you tips and tricks, bring guests and insight and advice to help you stay sane and stay productive. So today we're talking about procrastination, and perhaps you might be finding this is something that has been happening over the last few days, depending on what country you're in, where you're joining from this, what's happened in the UK. We went into lockdown last night, so I almost feel like this is a line in the sand and a chance for us to kind of go, okay, this is where we're at. How can we move forward and make the best of this? And that's my kind of approach to life in general. So, for those of you who are joining for the first time and have absolutely no idea who I am, my name, as I said, is Abigail Barnes. I am the founder of Success by Design Training. And prior to COVID-19, we worked with professionals and organizations to help them improve productivity and work-life balance. And for the last week, I started this brand new show to support people finding themselves remote working. Now, I am a big fan of staying in your lane and sticking to what you're really good at. So that being said, I'm going to be bringing on a remote working specialist to give us her top tips next week and to add some value. So as you're joining, just say hi. Any questions come up for you while we're going along. If you're watching on the replay, as I said, say replay. That would be super awesome. Let's talk about this procrastination, but let's talk about something maybe you have heard me speak about before, or perhaps you're new to me and to the work that I do. So we teach something called the 888 formula. And what the 888 formula does is it breaks down a 24-hour day into 3 areas. So the first 8 is rest or sleep. The second 8 is activities, and the third 8 is work. When you are able to get these areas of your life into balance, this is when we start to feel happy and healthy. And let's just park what's going on in the world to one side, because we don't know how long this is going to go on for. And we need, as humans, to get some kind of routine, some kind of certainty back into our lives to be able to control the things that we can control. So the 888 formula, as I said, is focused around rest, activities, and work. So once you work out what your numbers are, then you are able to start creating your routine and your habit and your way of living. So the funny thing is that prior to what's happened, I would talk about rest or talk about sleep, and most people were not getting enough sleep. Now, raise your hand, give me a high five or a heart or whatever, if you are getting more sleep now than you've ever had before. Because I don't know about you, but I am so tired now. I am literally probably in bed and asleep by 10:30, and I used to be able to drag my bedtimes out, but not anymore. So rest is something that, where before we used to struggle with, it's something that probably a lot of us are actually able to get more rest. So I really want to focus on the other areas of the 888 formula. So the activities area, which is basically your whole life, and the work area, which for most of us is contractually 8 hours, but could end up being longer. And who knows what's going on for you right now. Maybe you're still in work, maybe you've lost work, maybe you work for yourself, maybe you're a caregiver, so your work never stops because your work is to look after your family. So please apply these strategies that I'm going to share with you to whatever your situation is. And if you've got any questions or want to specifically talk about your situation, feel free to leave them in the comments or send me an email at hello@successbydesigntraining.com. Super happy to hop on a call and help support the community as much as I possibly can. So the first thing to say in this current situation right now is it is super helpful if you can really get into the mindset of being the role model. Now, I have another training on this that I shared about what being the role model actually means to me, and a massive breakthrough that I had at the start of the year about it. So I'll link that in the comments and you can watch that. But let's just talk about it briefly here. So being the role model was something that I never fully understood. For years, I used to think that being the role model was being the good example for everybody else. Until the start of this year, when I went to the US and did a training with one of my mentors, and he asked us to share with a group what being the role model meant to us. And I suddenly had a realization, oh, it means being the role model for myself. And so if you're finding yourself remote working, perhaps with friends, with family, maybe even you're on your own, really think about the actions, what are you doing, and how you are using them to be the role model for yourself. And what being the role model really means is, are you doing what you say you're doing? Because most of the time, nobody's even watching. And to be quite honest, nobody really cares what you're doing. They're too kind of interested in their own stuff and their own problems. And not because they're mean, but just because this is how life is. We all are sort of slightly self-obsessed. And maybe the current situation will help us to realize that there is a bigger world out there and we can all come together. But that's an aside. So being the role model is, are you exercising? Are you making the time to exercise? And if exercise is too much of a big word, are you moving? Whatever movement is for you. It might just be a few dips or squats. It might be a bit of vinyasa flow if you do yoga. It could be a full-blown workout. I mean, tons of people right now are putting workouts online. You are not short of things you can do. And this is part of our problem as humans, is there's so many things we can do, but what should we do and where should we start? So when you get into this mindset of being the role model for yourself and not for others, then it really comes down to, what are you doing and how is it making you feel? Does this make sense? So if you do exercise, if you do movement, does it make you feel better? If it does, keep doing it. What are you eating? Did those crisps and that chocolate that you've stockpiled make you feel better when you ate it? No. What have you got that you can eat that makes you feel better? And then this sort of flows through into your work. So how can you manage your work and your things that you've got to do to not feel so panicked and overwhelmed and like your to-do list has suddenly just gone crazy? Because what I'm sort of seeing happen at the moment is a lot of businesses and business owners and business leaders are fighting the fire, aka the virus, what's going on right now. So they're not really paying attention to your day to day, which can be slightly demotivating, but it's also your opportunity, our opportunities, all of us, to rise, to start to see, how can I be a leader? How can I take the initiative? How can I be a help to this problem rather than adding to the problem? So this whole role model thing, when you start by being the role model for yourself, what then happens is others watch you. But you're not doing it for them to watch you. You're doing it for yourself. So all that matters is how you feel. I hope that this is resonating with somebody and that this is the message that somebody needs to hear today, whenever you're tuning into this. because for me, this was absolutely pivotal to get that I was doing it for myself. And so, for those of you who are sharing a space with people at the moment, recognize that they're watching you and they're watching what you're doing, not what you're saying. But you're also watching what you're doing, not what you're saying. So, role modeling starts by being the role model for yourself, and then it spreads to others. And we can't teach others what to do if we don't do it for ourselves, because then we're out of integrity and we're inauthentic. Not only do people feel it, but they also see it, and they don't. It's hard to lie to people these days now because energy doesn't lie. You feel it. So let me talk to you then about the 3 things that I believe can help you stop procrastinating and get more productive right now when it comes to your working day. So the first thing is you really need to know what you need to do. Whether that be you have the time or the opportunity to sit down with a team leader or somebody around you who you can go and reevaluate your to-do list with, or whether you actually know what on your to-do list is important. It's so important to know what you need to do. One of the big reasons we procrastinate is because we're not really clear. And while we're not really clear, it's like, oh, I'm going to go somewhere. Obviously, we can't go anywhere right now, but just with the story, right? So I'm going to go somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to go. I'm just going to go there. So without a plan, there's no motivation or inspiration. So knowing what you need to do is super, super important to help you right now. The second thing is diarising your time. It has never been more important to manage your time, to manage your conscious energy. Where attention goes, energy flows. So whether that be during the workday, whether that be the evening, just know what you're doing. So if you're going to do a workout, schedule the workout. If you are going to have breakfast, schedule your breakfast, schedule your shower, literally schedule everything, because it will start to make you feel better, like you can control some stuff. It will help you to get the most out of your time. And however long this period of time is, I am determined, and maybe you'll join me in this, but I am determined to come out of this physically stronger and mentally stronger. So at the end of it, when we can run out into the world and everything's amazing, we're going there with a new energy, with a new level, with a new weight, with a new gratitude, a new respect, a new excitement for everything. So diarising your time is such an amazing way to help you to stay productive and avoiding the procrastination. And here's an interesting thing at this point. I listened to a training the other day, and they said the reason why managing your time working from home remotely is a skill is because you don't want to spend 14 hours of your day doing your 8 hours of work. Nobody wants to do that. It's just really boring. So if you can diarise your time and know what you're doing when you're doing it, then you can start to get your work done in so much shorter amounts of time, and you'll be surprised. And then you can do other things that you want to do, which then brings me on to the third thing, right? Research non-work activities. So take control of what you're doing when you're not working, so that you, maybe like me, can come out of this period of time with a new skill. So for me, I found that this company called Coursera do these trainings. You can do them online. So I have signed up to do 2 courses with them because they're absolutely free. And I am expanding my mind to learn different things and do different stuff. Maybe now is the time that you start decluttering your house and going through your cupboards and all those sorts of things. These are things that you can do when your work is done. So these are activities that you can plan. And now suddenly your weekend is DIY, but get the family involved, make it fun. I've seen all sorts of people turning their houses into assault courses. Maybe you use this opportunity to phone friends, reach out to people, say, how can I be helpful? And also, here is another thing I would love you to take away from this session today. Thank people. Thank everybody. There are people out there doing things for us which are unbelievable, like the refuse people who are collecting our rubbish. Obviously, the medical people are doing amazing things. So much thanks to them. Thank your family, thank your friends, thank people who are putting out positivity, because gratitude brings it back to you. And just become aware that there are people around who are maybe not in as great a position as you are right now. So how can you help them? And obviously, you can't necessarily go to their house, but maybe when you go on your walk, can you post something through their door which is uplifting, a message or something? Can you phone somebody that you know would appreciate a phone call? Just really start to think bigger than yourself. And this is being the role model. What would you want somebody to do for you? Do it for them, and give it to them. And be patient, be kind, be understanding. Yesterday, we had a trauma expert who was explaining to us about what is happening with everybody right now, and how different people are responding to different things in different ways. And you may have an opinion on how their actions are silly or moronic or whatever. Everybody's responding at the level that they are at. So be the change, be the role model for yourself. And one other thing, think about what you're sharing online. Think about, is this helpful? Who are you sharing it for? Are you just sharing it because you just want to share? Or are you sharing it because you think it will add value? And if it will add value, write something explaining why you think it will add value, because there is so much information out there right now. Everybody's sharing everything, and not all of it is helpful. It's all coming from a place of kindness and caring. I get that, but just be mindful of being the role model. And would you pick up the phone and necessarily tell 5 people what it is that you're sharing? If you wouldn't, then don't share it. So those were my top tips for you today. I hope that they were helpful and that you got some value from this. Leave a comment. Let me know what you are going to do as a result of this session today. We talked about 3 things: what you need to do, understanding what you need to do, diarising your time, and researching your non-work activities. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. We'll be live at 11, and tomorrow's guest is going to talk to us about stress, and she's going to share a stress reduction tip with us, or an activity that we can do live when we're online. So make sure you are live, and if you're not, then catch up on the replay. It has been so awesome to be with you today. Stay safe, stay well, stay indoors, and wash your hands. Take care.